Hi, guys. My name is Marisha, and I'm simply here to encourage you. I am simply here to add support and love and guidance in a way to help you figure out what you want to do to get you where you want to be. And I am just going to be a guide here. Okay. I'm not here to tell you what to do, I'm not here to give you advice. I'm simply just talking because I love to talk. And also, too, I love to talk about meaningful things. That's the main reason why we're here, because I believe that I have some valuable things to share that I know can help somebody on their journey, on their spiritual journey to finding their purpose. 2022, this is why this is passionate to me, because 2022, I went through a lot of changes, right? So first it was my health, a lot of things that were going on, but the main thing that was causing everything else was the gut health. Yeah, never went to the gym. Well, hardly. I've been to the gym, not gonna say never, but it wasn't a habit. Literally once in a blue moon. That's how I looked at the gym. I didn't know and realize how important going to the gym was. Secondly, I ate bad foods, nothing good, nothing healthy really. I just ate a lot of carbs, a lot of unhealthy stuff, processed foods, things that just weren't healthy for me, that were also causing other issues in my life. Um, didn't realize that I was lactose intolerant until after all these clearing up of things that I know I needed to get rid of. But just going through the process, I learned so much about myself. The doctor told me, she was like, I'm not trying to be rude, but you're like, because I was like 186. I am five at the time. I was just 5 foot. So she was like, you're overweight for your age and for your height. And I said, oh. And she told me the things I couldn't do, but she never told me the things I could do. For example, like how frequently to work out, what good stuff I can eat. I had to do all that on my own. And at the time, I'm just like, God, why are you punishing me? I didn't realize what was going on and why this was the start of my spiritual journey. This was the start of my spiritual journey, but at the time, I wasn't aware. I just was focused on so much of what was happening to me. I did not realize that it was all working out for my good. I didn't see it. I didn't see the result. I just knew and felt every single process, and it just felt so bad to me, because I'm like, now I'm stripping away from all that I known, and now I have to do this thing. And some people may think it's easy, but losing weight is not easy, and to form a complete new diet is not easy. And doing something completely new out of the norm, it was not easy. Okay. But this is when I had to call on God more and more, because this is new to me. I didn't know what was going on. And again, this was the beginning of my spiritual journey. When I was going through the process, I just, every time I ate, I would go and walk for 30 minutes around where I lived at my apartment complex. I would go outside and walk. I drank nothing but ginger tea and had honey with it. Um, I had no sugar, so I had to cut out sugar, carbs, coffee, wine. Ooh, girl, I was going through it. It was hard. Everything that I was doing, eating, but I knew it wasn't healthy. So I'm like, okay, girl, either you want to stay where you are or do you want to change? And as hard as it was, God guided me through every single thing. I was the only one doing it around, the people around me, they weren't doing this, but they did cheer me on. So I was grateful to the fact that they were doing that. At sometimes it was very tempting, to not, you know, deal and dabble in what everyone else was doing. But I'm so grateful that I stuck it out, because I lost about 20 pounds, and I'm so grateful. And now I'm even smaller than I was before, but I'm grateful because I now know healthy foods, wholesome foods, and now it's an everyday thing. It's become a habit. 3 years later, I'm truly blessed and thankful. And I share that with you guys because this episode is about where to start. That's why I wanted to share my backstory, because I did not know where I wanted to start. I just knew I had to start somewhere, especially doing something very hard and coming out of my comfort zone. When you already establish who you are, you're going to have to determine what is next for you. And sometimes you don't know that answer, and that is okay. And I shared that story because I didn't know what the results was going to be. I just knew that I had to get in and just do the work. Okay. And after you establish who you are and where you want to be, even if you're not exactly there yet, so you're trying to figure out, what do I need to do? What if I don't have everything that I need to do the next thing that's on my mind to do? Use what you have. Okay. Use what you have. I am an advocate of using what I have, because I'm not rich and we're not rich yet. And I don't want um, to not do what I need to do because I'm focusing so much on what I have. So, for example, when I started content creating, that was like later on in 2022 when I started wanting to content create. And I realized that, okay, I don't have this fancy camera, the Sony, I don't have this fancy camera going on, but I do have my phone. I do have light, right? So it's like, make it work. I have my voice, right? And it was like, but I delayed so much of that because I kept, like I said, I'm a visual learner. I'm a visual person. I'm a visionary. And I love to see. I love to just be literally out of the blue. I'm just painting a picture. Seriously. But I realize that sometimes we can't be so focused on the vision. We gotta still do. Because when we're overthinking of the vision, we already have those things. But again, we don't have it right now, right? So what do? To get to that place? You use what you have. You use what you have and be grateful for what you have. Show gratitude in where you are and give yourself grace as you are moving forward into this person that you are wanting to be, that you want to become, that you're working on. Walking with God. And I really wanted to say this, but really what I said in the last video is just saying, when I said it gets easier in your purpose when you are fully walking with God and He's showing you and guiding you on what you need to do in your purpose. As long as you are perfecting your craft, it does get easier. But what I will say is that walking with God and healing yourself to really fully show up as the person that you want to be, that is hard. It is hard because you're unlearning a lot of things. And this goes back to saying, where to start. Sometimes where to start is using what you have. Sometimes when you're thinking about where you want to start, whatever it is you want to do, you might have to heal to get to that next level. You might have to heal some things that you need to heal. You might have to unlearn some things that you need to unlearn. And it is hard to do that. Okay. It is not easy. And you know, I will not say that it is at all because you're stripping away from the things in the life and the people and the places that you once knew and what you once loved and was very comfortable in. But again, with growth, our minds are constantly changing. And we know in our spirit when it is time for a new start. We know when it's time to move. Okay. And a lot of times, we think packing up and moving away is going to change everything. It's going to fix our problems. And it's not, because it's the mindset that needs to change. It may be the mind that needs to be renewed. Um, and it's in the Bible says, be transformed by the renewal of the mind. So, and it's the heart too. You can't be moving in strife. You can't be so focused on what people has done to you in the past. And you know you got to fix that before you move to the next level, because when you get to the next level and you think that you can skip over that journey or skip over that the work, right, and half do what you need to do, then there's going to come a time where you're going to definitely have to face what you tried to skip, because it won't run away. It will always be with you, right? So whether you are suffering from the past of not being able to use your voice. Same with me. You know, if you're in a Black community, and I'm going to say specifically Black community, I think really people who grown up in homes where you always had to be quiet. If you spoke up against your family or your mom or whoever it is, or an adult, right? They looked at it as you're grown, right? You're being grown or you're disrespectful, right? So a lot of times as kids, we didn't have the space, the safe space to use our voices. And I'm one of them because it's always be quiet, hush, I'm the mother, I'm the parent, you listen to me, this is how it's going to go. And so you really didn't have any say so. And I think that's probably why I was so excited to go to college, let's be real. Because I knew that what I wanted, it was different than what I've grown up to be. And I suffered a lot in my professional life, personally, communicating with people. You know, it's just it was hard. It was a struggle, man, because I felt like I can just run away. I don't need to communicate with people. It's not good. And what you're doing is you're holding on to those values and those beliefs, what I call it hand me down beliefs, and you've already conformed. So those beliefs are hidden in your subconscious, you know, without even knowing and realizing it until you get to that space where you're like, yeah, it's time to do the work. So, you know, because it, again, you know, like I said, it will continue to follow you. It will continue to have this pressure on you until you can face yourself. And facing ourselves isn't easy. So meeting yourself where you are, right? Because we already said, you know, we already established who we are, how we want to come up in this world, how we want to put ourselves out there. But I want you to understand that now you have to determine, you know, and with God's help, you have to determine, okay, what's next? What do I need to do? Right? Where do I need to start? We have to check ourselves. And if we don't have a relationship with ourselves, then what else can we truly, genuinely have a relationship with? Okay, so think about that. Um, And if you are progressed, think about exactly what it is that you want to, you know, where you want to start, right? It could be totally different from how others start. It's all about your journey. And this is the important part is that you get to decide, you get to choose what is good for you. You get to choose. I'm talking because I am just teaching and showing you and kind of really talking to you about what I've learned and what I've been through and the values that I picked up and the information. I don't want to gatekeep this wisdom. It's so much, and I'm just like, this is what I've been meaning to do. This is what it's supposed to be. Like me on this camera, I'm supposed to be coaching. I'm supposed to be serving and helping people. So you determine exactly what it is that you want to do and how you want to show up, okay, with intention. So I hope that this video helped. And if this video did help, please make sure that you like, comment, and please subscribe if this is a great fit for you in this community where we are growing and we are positively speaking life over ourselves, right? And we are in our spiritual journey, we are praising God, and we are giving nothing but grace and love to ourselves so we can show up and make an impact in someone else's life. So if you are committed to growth, please stick around for more. I am grateful to have you. I am rooting for you. And I just want to say again, it is about you. It's about what you need and what you want and what feels good in your heart. Okay. All right. Have a blessed day. See y'all later in the next video.